Well, good morning everyone, happy Friday, and here we are at OysterGro, and we are going to go and talk to Mark and Raymond and discuss lines and configurations to the lines. So as you can see, we have a standard setup here, and we're going to go and talk to the guys, and they are going to give us a little bit of an overview of what this is all about. So good morning Raymond, good morning Mark.
Good morning.
As you can see, we're all wearing face masks. That's just part of our safety protocols in these slightly weird and challenging times. But anyway, so Raymond, if you want to start off, what are we looking at here?
Well, we're looking at a rope kit that we just received, and we were just examining how it was made and just point out some of the stuff that we think is really important. We have on our rope kits, we always add a thimble at each end to make sure that we get something really secure that's not going to wear out in a few years, so that helps it. And it's as you see, it's braided in.
Yep.
So it's real strong. It's going to last a long time. The size of the rope in this case is for an aggressive water application, so we want to go with 3/4 inch line.
So it's 3/4.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 3/4 inch line, something pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And with the thimble, we think this is really secure.
So the thimble, that is stainless steel, yeah?
It is absolutely stainless steel.
So no rust, no corrosion,
No.
nothing like that. And
No.
that's braided in quite a long way. Good, what, 12 inches?
Yeah, at least 12 inches, and it's braided in. You can see it's really strong.
So that would go to your adjustment line.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so then we come along to the first lateral intersection.
This is how we splice the laterals in, okay? And it's nice and secure. The tail is secured in place, and we always put hog rings on both sides to prevent it from stretching one way or the other, slipping
Okay.
out.
So when you say splice, we've actually got this line, and as you can see, it's going through.
Yep, it's absolutely
And it's knotted over the shoulder, and then the hog ring, as we can see here, that's it. Thank you. So what's that for, Mark? What's the hog ring going to do for us?
It's going to prevent the line from sliding side to side and basically loosening.
Okay, so you're maintaining the position of the lateral, so you know you don't all of a sudden have
That's right.
your laterals coming together or something like that, which might cause your cages to twist. Yeah.
And absolutely, something also to point out, we only use 1/2 inch lateral lines, again, to make sure that in aggressive water, we do have maximum security.
Now there's two configurations of rope, yeah? There's sinking and non-sinking. What are we looking at here for?
This is a polyflex type rope, and this is a sinking rope.
Okay.
So, just to make sure that these will eventually drag down so they don't float at the top and create a problem.
Ah, yeah, so it doesn't get caught up in the prop or any of your
Exactly,
equipment,
yeah.
that type
Yeah,
of
you
thing.
want them to drag down so that they don't become an issue when you're processing your lines.
Okay, so running along the lateral and back up to Mark, we have a
Rubber puck or rubber washer.
yeah.
Puck if you're in New England or Canada, and then we just create a simple knot.
Now that knot, obviously it is quite simple like you say, so is that another point of adjustment? You know, so if you've got a little bit of slack in
That's a
there.
good point. It is a point of adjustment.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so you can tie it wherever you want and then trim it
Yep.
if you need to.
Perfect. So we got the bridle on the side of the cage.
Right. And you'll notice that on the bridle, we put a hog ring for a similar application, right? To prevent it from slipping out.
Yeah.
So this is how we attach our laterals to the bridle.
So it chokes it,
It does.
and obviously the tension there is just going to keep that choked all the time. So then the load is dissipated into each of the knots here, which are knotted through, and that's one of the strongest points of the cage, because obviously we have the top and the side, but over the top and to dissipate the energy we have our brace, which is quite long. It's only one mesh in from each end, and that really throws any shock or any forces widely through the cage, which will help with the longevity of the system as it's out on the water on its daily working life. Anyway, so come on, let's walk on through.
Something that you may notice on these cages, this client has taken advantage of all our different color gaiters to make sure that he wants to use that as a reference to separate out different sizes of oysters in the cages. So it's a neat way of doing it, easy way, visual.
So the gaiter, so it's basically we're using the elasticity of the bungee and a mechanical closure on the door, so it really grabs and don't let go, and that's on 3 positions. So every 2 bags are held in, not a problem. This is good. So then we move along the lateral. There's a set spacing, I take it, between one cage to the next.
Well, the one thing that you can do, this has spacing, this has a 4-foot spacing in between laterals.
Right.
But you know, depending on the equipment that you're using, you may want to shorten that up, we may want to lengthen that out. It depends on your equipment and the way you want to set it right up your pond.
Now Mark, you've done some work on line configurations and water depth, and the spacing can be affected by the water depth.
So what the water depth will do is, normally at the end of your main line, you have an adjustment line. Okay, and for this customer, he chose not to use one, but that's a typical application. So water depth will impact the length of your adjustment line.
Okay.
Right? So the shallower the water, the less you need.
Right.
The adjustment line you need. And the shallower you are, something else that you can consider doing is shortening your laterals.
Which makes sense, because obviously you only need a certain amount of space, and you know, predominantly we've configured to that 10 to 15 foot sweet spot. But if someone is in shallower water, you don't need all that extra line, you don't need all that extra cost, and effectively that means potentially you can put more cages in a line. Would that be correct?
True, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, as it gets shallower, you can also reduce the spacing as well. So we move along. As you can see, they're all connected, different color gaiters, and just as a point of reference, we put on the back end our new Low Pro Plus, and so this is a 3-bag configuration. The actual float for this product is in stealth gray, and if you want to slide it over, it kind of gives you an idea of how low the profile is in comparison to our largest cage. So you know, again, it's quite light, it's very lightweight, easy to use, but if you are in areas where you've got a lot of activity when you're sinking, you don't want to have too much of a profile for movement, or you're in shallower areas where you see sea ice, the Low Pro Plus in its 3-bag configuration is very productive and can give you, you know, an option that could be the solution for you. So anyway, that's us, that's a line. We just thought we'd share that. No, it's not a Steven Spielberg type movie, but again, it's all about sharing information and hoping and helping you guys get the best out of your systems. So thank you very much. Happy Friday. Cheers.